Namaskar and welcome to our series of special interviews. Mr. Shetty is the Chief Strategist and Technology Officer at Wipro, a company that has its headquarters in Bangalore, but a global company, a major software company. And we are happy to have him in our studios to talk to him about the impact of AI in his company and also the India AI Impact Summit. Thank you very much, Mr. Shetty, for being with us. Now, how does Wipro's consulting-led AI-powered strategy align with, India's aspirations in artificial intelligence?
First and foremost, it's my pleasure to be here today. Thank you for having me here. AI is such a phenomenal technology that I think it'll have a dominant impact both in terms of nations, economies, the society, and for each one of us as individuals. So what we do as a company is certainly relevant in terms of what India would want to do as well from an AI perspective. Let me give you some examples. The strategy that we have as a company, we call it as consulting-led and AI-powered. The consulting-led portion is extremely important because AI as a technology requires one to understand the context of how to apply AI within a problem space. Yeah. So this basically means one needs to have a deeper understanding of the culture, the context, the process, and the method to apply AI. And that is where I think companies like ourselves, having a deeper understanding of how technology works in a business context, can bring the same learning into a country context to make it relevant from a contextual perspective, because AI is not really portable. It has to be adopted for a context.
But we are talking globally, and when we talk about sovereign AI models for India especially and digital independence, how do these things work, for a global company like Wipro?
There are multiple ways in which it's of relevance for us. Yeah. For example, you talked about the frontier models. Wipro has a lot of capability in terms of helping curate data sets, helping build models, and actually, even fine-tune models, train models, etc. So if you look at that expertise that is there in AI, from a talent perspective as well as from a model building, skill building, etc., there's a variety of things that have to come together to create an impact. And the summit that we are talking about is all about the AI Impact Summit.
Indeed.
Yeah. And so the impact that one can create is necessarily a sum total of the ability to understand the technology, ability to curate the right data set, ability to model it appropriately, and apply it in a problem context. Yeah, that's where I think it'll make.
So what sectors are going to be the most affected, and why this disruptive impact, and how is industry adapting?
Yeah, so interestingly, any of these major technological breakthroughs, I sort of compare AI with something like a steam engine or electricity or the internet itself, right? It's a revolutionary technology. It's a multidimensional. There's multidimensional aspect to it. So one can look at that as a disruption, or one can look at this as a phenomenal opportunity that's there in the world. So we typically look at AI from three dimensions. We look at the aspect of productivity and efficiency as one aspect. We look at experience as a second aspect, and we look at expansion as a third aspect. So AI sort of plays out on all three dimensions in terms of what it can do. For example, if you look at the sectors from an India perspective, if you look at education, for example, AI has got a phenomenal play in terms of what it can do from the education perspective, primarily around building education models, which can actually have more adaptable learning process compared to a static learning process. So, for example, the pace of learning, the topics and content of learning can be intelligently adopted depending on the ability of a student to grasp those concepts, which is of phenomenal value when you really look at a society as large as ours. True. And the number of young children who have to be trained.
So you're looking at education, but if India wants to really scale up and compete, as a major power economically, and that's where we are headed, manufacturing will have to improve. And labor-intensive manufacturing at that. Can AI help in this, finding a solution here?
Yeah. So education was one of the examples of a sector that I gave you. The other most important sectors that will definitely be touched upon by AI, for example, healthcare, as a phenomenal change. And I will give you some examples of healthcare. Manufacturing, you absolutely nailed it there. It'll have a manufacturing, you can make a phenomenal difference with AI, primarily because your ability to model a digital twin of a physical process. For example, a factory can be modeled as a digital twin, and then you experiment in a virtual environment, and then implement it back in a physical environment. The efficiencies of what we can manufacture, the kind of things that you can manufacture, can actually be taken up a couple of notches up in terms of what we do. The second aspect is accessibility of the know-how of manufacturing can be made more universal. India as a country is dependent on MSME segment to a significant extent.
Right.
And one of the key challenges is availability of all this knowledge at those levels. And AI can certainly make a huge difference in terms of basically making the knowledge available and the technology accessible by everyone.
So are there technical challenges, in scaling up AI in a linguistic diverse country like ours, and also cultural landscape that India is?
Yes, and that was my initial statement as well.
Okay.
While AI provides a great opportunity, we should be sensitive to the cultural aspects of the society that we all live in. So, an AI model that understands Indian culture will be very important as we actually look at the model. Languages, I did see in the AI Impact Summit itself. A lot of companies are trying to address the problem of languages and being able to translate between multiple languages, being able to understand different languages is a core essence of what we need from an AI perspective in this country.
What's the kind of policy environment that is required for AI to actually make a huge impact in our country?
See, I'm positively very pleased with the steps that India is taking from a policy framework, and the key element that I would definitely call out is a policy that actually helps AI make deeper inroads. Will certainly help the country, help the citizens in the country. Policy should not be just looked at from a compliance perspective. It should be from a risk perspective, a compliance perspective. It's basically the ability to put all the right ingredients in play, which actually helps faster innovation, better adoption, while managing the risks and the responsible AI piece of it, which is super important.
Now, within Wipro itself, I mean, you're a company that's been in existence as a software company for about 40 years. So in this context, what sort of reskilling and innovation is taking place within the company itself for the AI era?
See, I keep talking about this. If there's a moat for Wipro as a company, it's the velocity of learning. Our engineers are equipped to learn at the fastest possible pace, given that we have always been in the technology industry and the industry has been evolving. Just as we speak, all of our employees have been trained on AI. Different levels of AI, for example, AI that is required to have a basic understanding, AI that helps you do your job better, and in AI where basically we help build models and all the good things that I just talked about at the advanced level from data science and AI scientists, right? So we have got all levels of training, and all of our employees today have gone through those training, and we are continuing to improve the maturity of our training methods on AI as well.
So one of the big concerns for the layman and the common man is that AI is going to displace jobs. So I mean, how does one address this and say that perhaps AI can create more jobs than displace jobs? Is that even possible?
See, interestingly, I was at Davos, and this was one of the conversations that we had at Davos at length. And the World Economic Forum, if you look at the numbers from World Economic Forum, 170 million new jobs are going to get created across the globe by 2030 because of AI. And roughly about 92 million jobs will be impacted. Yeah.
Okay.
So if you look at the plus side and the negative side, you're talking about more than 70 million jobs getting created because of AI, right? So it all depends on the lens that you use. As I told you, AI is a multidimensional opportunity, and if one takes a full view of what the opportunity space is, there's so much to be done, and it's a play for both humans and systems to work together.
So indeed, but for people to take advantage of those opportunities, they have to take some steps as well, isn't it? So people to adapt the last mile, what really is required, for a person at the end of the day, he just has a smartphone. To what extent can he utilize his smartphone to access this AI revolution we are talking about?
Yeah. So if you really look deeper, for example, an accounting person will use an AI tool to actually help them do accounting better, right? So every role will get augmented with AI in a form, and that's the future that we actually see for all roles. You're already seeing it for the development community, where there's vibe coding, for example, where it can help you code faster. Similarly, for example, for an accountant, you'll have tools that actually helps do an accountant's job better. You'll have doctors, for example, reading radiology reports, for example, and helping the doctors do their job better. So every job will get augmented in terms of how actually things work out, and that's how we see the future. But the most important thing is the learnability aspect.
Right.
So every person, I guess, has to have ability to learn the the tools and the techniques that they can use in their job to use AI.
And how are Indian tech companies and global tech companies, which have Indian origins as well, competing in this new world of AI? I mean, to sort of get right up there to the top.
Yeah, just like every other industry that I told you will have some form of opportunity with AI. We see this as a phenomenal opportunity for Wipro. So that's why if you look at our own strategy, we have centered it around consulting-led and AI-powered, because we think it's a decade of AI, and we want to be absolutely in a place where we can play along in this journey. So Wipro Intelligence, our entire suite of platforms, solutions, and innovative offerings are designed to actually address this opportunity space that we are talking about.
And finally, to what extent will this AI Impact Summit, change the conversation about responsible, reliable, and ethical AI?
See, two sets of conversation that I'm hearing at the summit. One part of it is the impact part, and that's a big conversation that's happening at the summit in terms of how do we actually take this great technology and create societal, economic, and business impact. The second big topic is about responsible AI. So as we do all of these good things, how do we ensure that AI is responsible, free from bias, security, and people have trust in what we are talking about from an AI perspective. Because if the society trusts AI, the full benefits of AI can be unleashed. If the society does not trust AI, then we'll have other problems to deal with. So responsible AI is at the core of what we're doing. And as a company, for example, every AI model that we build, we make sure that we follow the responsible AI guardrails that we've got within the company to make sure it's as per the standards that we have set ourselves to work on.
Mr. Hari Shetty, thank you very much for joining us and putting all this into context for us, unpacking the real story, the impact of AI for us, and showing us how national ambitions can also meet global opportunities. Thanks for being with us.
It's my pleasure to be here. Thank you.